everybody, and welcome to another top 5 records video. Today I'm going to be talking about the 5 best albums from 1961. And I'm going to kick this list off immediately with the most beautiful, Out of the Cool by the Gil Evans Orchestra. Now this is a magical jazz record. The moment you turn this on, it is as if you walk into a room, a kind of like David Lynch kind of room, which is filled with the most mythical, inspiring jazz music. It is an incredible experience on the level of sound and atmosphere. And it contains one of my all-time favorite jazz songs, Where Flamingos Fly. This is incredible, and in any other year it might have been just on the #1 spot, but 1961 is a very, very good year for music. Now I'm also very much impressed by this pressing. This is a acoustic sounds pressing done by Ryan Smith, mastered by Ryan Smith, and this is one of the audiophile highlights of last year. If you can find one, if you come across one, the acoustic sound series, it's awesome. I don't want to. I want to be a commercial kind of guy, you know. I'm not advertising for anyone, but and I'm gonna get back to Analog Productions in more of these records in this video. But Analog Productions just did the most awesome versions of records from 1961. I just can't help it. And the next one, the #4, is also an Analog Productions pressing. It's Roots by Jimmy Witherspoon with Ben Webster. Now, why is it on the #4 spot? This is, in every sense of the word, an amazing blues album. Jimmy Witherspoon's voice is so powerful, smooth. It has so much emotion to it, but there is something special about the way the music is approached, because from a very blues point of view, he has involved jazz elements. There's a trumpet on there, but Ben Webster plays saxophone. And that is interesting, because when you hear Ben Webster play saxophone, it's jazz. Of course it's jazz. So the solos and all are jazz, but Jimmy Witherspoon is blues. And of course there are more albums which combine jazz and blues. Nina Simone did it, Ray Charles did it, but none of them have the same outcome as this one, because it feels like blues all the way, but the jazz vibe just it lengthens. Yeah, I know this sounds like bullshit, but it feels like you're sitting back listening to blues, and then a saxophone comes in, and you just sit a little bit more way back, you know? That kind of vibe. It is amazing. Again, Analog Productions pressing, done by Kevin Gray. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant pressing. If you come across one of these, do yourselves a favor, buy it. It's amazing. Now I've got an old pressing on the #3 spot. An old pressing. Nevertheless, stellar sounding. Roy Orbison sings Lonely and Blue. And this is such an awesome record. I mean, Roy Orbison, in my opinion, is way too often overlooked. This man has the most sensible and sensitive, fragile voice. Nevertheless, do not confuse fragile with a lack of power and range, because this man can sing. Nobody in those days could sing high, all of these highs, like Roy Orbison, and sound so intimate. I mean, this album kicks off with Only the Lonely. Only the Lonely is one of the best songs from the 60s, especially the early 60s. I think it's one of the best songs ever. I mean, the way it just develops. Dum 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 doobie doo hey 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 hey. And when just you have that spot of nothing, only the lonely. beautiful melody line, beautiful lyric, and then it goes on. Maybe tomorrow, ba 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 ba, a new romance, no more sorrow, and it just goes on and higher and higher, and it builds, it builds, it builds. It's such a good song. And after that, what do we get? Bye Bye Love, and the rest of the record is great. I mean, Bye Bye Love is good. All these songs are good. This is such an awesome album. Again, just as what I said with the Gil Evans Orchestra, in any other year, most other years, this would have made the #1 spot. Could have made a #1 spot. But 1961 is a great year for albums. On number 3, Lonely and Blue by Roy Orbison. Now, the #2 spot. The #2 spot is one of the major albums which got me into jazz. And it is this one. The Nat King Cole story. What I'm holding here is a 5 LP box set, which he did. And the story that I've heard is that he knew that he had limited time in his life, and he decided to record his important songs one more time with an orchestra, the ultimate way. Now, this is the ultimate Nat King Cole recording. It contains, it's not a compilation album, because this is a whole different session. And it just ties all his songs together. This is indeed the story of his life. There are so many brilliant songs in here. The Christmas song, Route 66, it goes on and goes on. One of my all-time favorite songs. And the way it was recorded is on here, Nature Boy. The way Nature Boy sounds here. I mean, this is a three-track recording. The way this was recorded, the way this was sung, it is complete and total perfection. The Nat King Cole story is one of my most cherished possessions, one of the records I've played so often, and it's like falling into a dream. You put it on and it's like you're starting to dream. It really is. Now, the #1. Again, the other one could also have hit the #1 spot on any other year, but 1961 is an amazing year. And what I have here is just one of my favorite jazz albums of all time. Perhaps my favorite. But I'll say that again and again. The Blues and the Abstract Truth by Oliver Nelson. This album is amazing. It is pure jazz magic. I love it so much. After I bought this acoustic sound series pressing, again, Ryan Smith, Analog Productions, big kudos. They did a great job. I just wanted to compare how it sounds to an original. And what I found was a second US mono pressing. Same year, same factory, and it has RVG in the stamp. So this sounds exactly the same as an original one does. Then again, this is mono, this is stereo, and this is a case in which I cannot choose which version I prefer. This has more room, you know, slightly more definition. This has more mid and a bit more low, and it has warmth. And the thing is, I can listen to both versions and love them to death. I mean, this is such an amazing album. It was recorded in such an excellent way. If you come across one of these, buy it. It is one of the best jazz albums ever made, and I cannot imagine it letting you down. Now, that was my top 5 list of the best albums of 1961. I'm curious, do you agree, do you disagree? Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.